What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Jacked Ramsays. Danny Meringue, Brandon Sprague. It is Friday the 13th, 6 o'clock. The Portland Trailblazers have played two preseason games. Well, one against an actual NBA opponent. Like, rate, review, subscribe. Help us grow the show. You know what to do. Remember, Jacked Ramsays, Blue Wire podcast, brought to you by Move Insoles.
Bing!
How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How do you not start today's show with some kind of like dark, maniacal Halloween laugh?
Because that just leads into my serial killer persona a little too much.
Oh, you're afraid of your persona being known as some kind of psycho, huh?
What do you mean it's kind of known? Have you listened to our radio show?
Yeah, I do, actually, and I do a podcast with you, so I don't know why you don't just lean into it at this point. Just be like, yo, I'm the guy in the Scream mask.
Yeah, it is. See, that's the thing is like, I don't... Now that I think about this, I don't think I'd be the mask guy. I'd want to see the whites of their eyes.
That's not terrifying at all. You're just a maskless villain. You're just like, hi, I'm Danny, here to get ya.
Oh man! All right, basketball's back. Back. As we're recording this right now, Victor Wembanyama is playing what's left of the Miami Heat. 9 players didn't make the trip to San Antonio.
Yeah.
Which TNT's probably like, I thought we weren't doing the load management shit.
Yeah, I love, by the way, Silver saying load management, not a problem, not a big deal. And then the NBA randomly going, we did a study. Actually turns out load management doesn't help. These guys must play.
It's weird. It almost lines up with the broadcast rights deal that's coming up.
What? No way. Why else would they say that? I can't believe that.
So we've got that to talk about. Not only the league-wide broadcast stuff, but the broadcast issues that the Portland Trailblazers are currently running into. People are very mad at me about it online.
People are mad at you about it? Did you make the decision?
No, people are mad at me as somehow I'm devaluing their feelings, their thoughts, their criticisms about everything about it. And look,
do you feel like you are?
No, I don't. Like
I did see one tweet where I kind of read it in my head, and I thought I was going to respond, but just hold it for the podcast because I figured we'd talk about it.
Yeah, let's dive into it now because it's topical, and then we'll get into the basketball stuff that there's a lot of, which is kind of funny considering it's been like a game. So
well, it's a weird thing because I don't know how much New Zealand breakers you're going to give me because I didn't click the stream. I'm a 36-year-old man terrified of clicking streams.
Look, man,
because I don't want the government knocking on my door and I don't know what I'm doing.
I was in the building for the breakers, so we can talk about a little bit of what came out of that. We'll mostly highlight what went on last night on the floor because the sliding scale of relativity is more accurate against another NBA team. Comcast/Xfinity, well, they were dicks about it, and they dropped a rate hike purposefully, leading into the Portland Trailblazers and Kraken seasons en route customers.
Yeah.
One that has upwards of $36 a month charges, so essentially just under $500 a year. If you need to upgrade, to be blunt, it was a dick move. And it was purposeful, and they did it at the time that they knew it was going to hurt the most. Talking to the Blazers organization, they were genuinely surprised by it. They are not a Comcast partner. They are a Root partner. So those discussions are not something that's heading their way. And I'm not going to speak for the organization. I would just say very simply, they are not thrilled about what's happening. They are not thrilled about the current landscape of the RSN world. Nobody is. Did you see the Bally Sports tweet today, Brandon?
Actually, I didn't.
That's all, folks.
They just tweeted we're done?
Yeah. Thanks for being a Bally Sports fan. We're done. We're out of the sports business.
Like, I knew they were going bankrupt and all that, and they couldn't pay their bill, but, like, I didn't see that tweet.
Yeah.
Jeez.
They sent out, like, a 12-word tweet of, like, thanks for supporting us and all our teams. Bye. It's like...
Yes, you didn't support us enough, you bastards.
Yeah. Here are the facts as they are right now. Comcast / Xfinity raised their rates to Root Sports customers. That is not a Blazers decision. That is a Comcast Xfinity decision. It does impact a not insignificant amount of customers. Based on my rough math, from what's available and with discussion between industry experts and other basketball business folks, kind of where subscription stuff stands, not only in this market but around the country, I think you can probably expect that impacts about 20 to 22% of the Blazers fan market. Mm-hmm. That level of penetration. So you're talking about, about a fifth of the market. That's not a small amount. Where things currently stand with this stuff, you're probably looking at roughly 60 to 62, 63%. Because it's hard to get through this because of all the different things, like who's a Comcast subscriber, who's a Comcast Sports subscriber, or excuse me, who's a Comcast subscriber that has the Root Sports package. Like, it's just, there's layers. So to get the reports for this stuff, it's like $500 a report. So wow. I reach out to people who have the information, and then I ask them to filter it for me. So essentially the linear customer base is, I would say, around 60 to 65%. So by linear, I mean cable or satellite. The rest is some version of streaming. Okay. Mm-hmm. The position that they are in right now is they have 2 more years left in their deal with Root. And again, I am not speaking for the Blazers. I am just going off of industry experts and what I expect to have happen. In 2 years, you will see a Suns Jazz-esque version for the Portland Trail Blazers. Mm-hmm. Whether that is with Coin CW, KGW, and KGW Plus, Fox and Fox 12 Plus, that there will be something there. Mm-hmm. The NBA is going to have some sort of streaming package that is direct to consumer.
Yeah.
All of that stuff is happening. But it's just 2 years away. What I want to tell people, and I'm going to write about this. Maybe I won't write about this. Maybe I'll just use this as the platform to talk about it. As much as you all are frustrated with Root and the product, the Blazers took the best package that was on the table in 2021. That's the God's honest truth. I know the package that was put on the other deal that was put on the table by NBC, and it sucked. Mm-hmm. You would not have access to YouTube going forward from 2021. That standalone was not there. So everybody's like, we could have just stayed with NBC and kept YouTube. No, you couldn't have. They were going to put it on Peacock, or attempt to put it on Peacock. Right now, also the Peacock Premium. Real quick, Brandon, you spend a lot of time in Peacock?
I've only used the Peacock streaming thing once this year, is for the Washington-Michigan State game.
Okay. It's still out there.
It's a small cock right now, but they hope to grow it,
yes.
make it a larger cock.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a Peacock. You got to let it fly.
Exactly.
So the YouTube TV stuff was not there. The reason they went with the route that they did and also, if you were a satellite customer, you would not have had access continuing going forward.
Right.
Because that was the problem. By adding the satellite access, I know for a fact that the Blazers market doubled. So the idea of like there's less people available to access games is patently false. And again, I'm not carrying the Blazers water. I just was a TV guy at the company that was putting the deal on the table. Very well aware of what was happening. The Blazers in 2018 and 2021 explored direct-to-consumer options.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA was not going to allow that to happen at that point in time.
Mm.
Do you know what television revenue is tied to? It's BRI. So if all of a sudden the basketball-related income isn't there, well, you've got to get it from somewhere. And the league in 2018 and 2021 were not going to allow tens of millions of dollars from each team, or in the case of the Lakers, hundreds of millions of dollars from teams to just disappear. It wasn't viable.
Yeah.
The Blazers wanted to go direct to consumer in both instances. They got very deep on the exploration process both times. But the league was just not in a position to allow that to happen. So, as much as it sucks, and I tried to kind of put a tweet together around this that made sense, was I know it sucks. And I'll be bluntly selfish right now. I lost real money by not having my TV show. And even I'm telling you that the deal that they took with Root was better. Like, I have real skin. I have a career in the game. And I am telling you, they made the right choice. If that doesn't tell you that the other deal sucked, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. I think
So-
I think on that note though, like I think the difficult thing is one, just bad luck and timing of not being able to just, go to the closet, look in the back shelf and pull out and dust off the old Blazer Vision manual in 2020, 2021. So we could have just dusted it back off because we were ahead of our time with that thing. That's just something that's kind of out of your control. I think the one thing though, and I saw the team statement, I saw Root's statement. I always think it's a bit laughable, not necessarily team, but like when networks say, hey, this is changing due to this bigger company than us, call and tell them about it. And I'm like, they won't give a shit. So why would I care about doing that? Like me calling Comcast and you calling Comcast and everybody else watching this right now would literally make no impact. They'd be like, well, sorry, sir. I don't know what to tell you. And so it's like, it's just such a useless exercise of, we're so sorry about this. If you're outraged, and it's almost like a deflection, right? Like, not that they need to take on all the criticism of it, but it's like, Root, hey, go talk to your provider, talk to Comcast. They're the ones doing it. It's like, but why would I do that? They leave me on hold for 4 hours and then they don't care about what I have to say. I just kind of thought, I see the frustration. I see,
100%.
and I might be a little spicy tonight. My baseball team got eliminated after having the greatest season of my lifetime.
Hey, was Bryce Harper supposed to hear that?
No, he wasn't. All right. Clubhouse things are meant to stay in the clubhouse, snitches. And Kevin Pillar, when the ball goes past the catcher, run to home. Get us a point, man. Get us a run. Momentum is a real thing. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. The one thing I saw you tweet, and I was trying to follow it through social media because I've been like trying to also get yard work done at the house because the weather's been nice. The one thing is when you add, or when it is when your channel is made to be more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still kind of confused by that, because you're saying it can get as high as 36. I saw some random people saying they give you a discount and it's actually only a $9 raise. And I'm like, $9.
If you call and you bitch enough at them, you can't, like, that was my
discount you back.
They'll just cut it. Like, legitimately, hey, I'll stare into the camera right now. Again, if you're a Comcast / Xfinity customer and you're in this world, call, complain. 100%.
So you're saying calling and complain will work?
Yes. No, I've done it for years. So, like, I've had it for my internet service, and every time they tried to, like, jack up my rates, like, in an insane level, or a cable package that went sideways, if you're willing to spend an hour dealing with the BS, you will get what you want, ultimately.
Well, so I saw this news. I freaked out. I'm like, oh, crap, man. Like, there's a basketball game on. I'm trying to watch. Go to Root. It's some hockey games from last year. And I'm like, that's weird. So I wait a couple hours to come back. Oh, surely it's gone now. Turn it on. Still there. I'm like, I thought somebody said this was canceled.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I had the package. I didn't even know it. I had the premium package.
Yeah, if you didn't get the email,
for
you're
tax
good.
purposes. I don't. Yeah, I also used to be a YouTube TV guy. I loved it. I swear by YouTube TV. Mm-hmm. But they didn't have the Pac-12 network, and my job requires me to watch college football, which mainly Oregon State plays on, and the Blazers. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, what am I paying for all these different things? I'm just going back to cable because I'm paying the same price anyway.
You, me, and every other person in this market.
Exactly. But I do think the one thing, though, was when I think you had said something of the effect of when people ask for more options and they give them to you, and you had like a GIF of pulling eyes down.
Oh yeah, no, that wasn't to the Root Sports stuff. And that's why I was so irritated. People were bitching about me saying, "Hey guys, they're giving you the Fox Plus game." Like, somebody was complaining because it was over the air. So there's an October 16th preseason game with Fox Sports Plus or Fox 12 Plus, and I broke that. Like, hey, like, wink, wink, nod, nod. They're looking at doing this. And so somebody was like, "Oh my God, like, what is this? Like the Pac-12 being on Ion?" It's like, no, you idiot. This is the way that they're heading.
I thought your tweet was an indicator of like, in a way, kind of saying like, it sucks, but stop complaining.
No.
And like, I just think from the fans' perspective, take the team away, take Root away.
Yeah.
I just think from the fan perspective, it's another annoyance. It's another
stupid thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Because, look, man, like even before I've been doing this now for 12 years. This is year 12 of covering the team. I've been dealing with the same stupid Comcast stuff as everybody else. I didn't get free Comcast when I was working at NBC because I was a contractor.
Oh,
Yeah, no, you guys were employees. I was not.
No, I was a contracted employee.
And they gave you free?
I was like, yo, you're not paying me shit. Give me free cable. And they're like, okay, just bill us every month and we'll give back the money. I was like,
maybe I guys didn't push hard enough.
No, but okay. So that was just, all right. That's just,
that was 100% like in response to somebody complaining about like getting the game literally over the airwaves. And so everybody knows, the game that's on Fox 12 Plus on the 16th.
Monday.
The reason it is there is because Root is allowing it to be there. Root owns the broadcast rights. I've seen people in the comments like, well, if Uncle Phil owned the team, he would just buy this out. There's no buyout option. There's a contract that is a mile long. Mm-hmm. It's not just there for them to be like, why don't you buy out this? That's not there. Now, I would be shocked if the Blazers didn't have their legal team looking at the contract to find other things in there to see if maybe there's a way that there's an amenable issue in here. But that's a team of lawyers, and it's going to take some time to go through that stuff.
Yeah.
The reality is they're probably stuck with this deal for the next 2 years or 18 months. And I know it doesn't make people happy to hear, well, it'll be better in 2 years. I know. But the reality is it will be better in 2 years. The Blazers are going to be a team that I hate having a caveat of this with because everybody gets mad at Jody and the Allen estate and everything else. They are dumping more money into the team, whether it's the G League, whether it's scouting, whether it's the front office. Like, they are. They spend a bunch of money on the new seats in Moda. Like, it's not a unwillingness to spend money. They want, like, it is the dumbest thing imaginable to think that the Allen estate is greedy and dumb and awful, and that they would also not want the team to be seen by more people. Like, those two things they don't make any sense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if all they care about is making money,
why would you want?
Why would you not want your product available to more people? You know what I mean? So it's all just very dumb. And you and I are both very well aware of the world of RSNs. It's crumbling down. Yeah.
It's a really unfortunate thing. I'm interested to see the Phoenix and Utah thing and kind of follow how that, like, I don't know how many people know this. I know people want to get to the basketball, but the Atlanta Falcons, they opened that new stadium down in Atlanta. And Arthur Blank and the Falcons actually had a study they did where basically they thought, you know what? We're making concessions super affordable. Like, think back to the dollar dog, blazer dog days, right? Like, $1 gets you a blazer dog. And so everything in Atlanta, when you go to a stadium, like, beers are $4.
Yep.
Hot dogs are $2. Nachos are $3. Pizzas $3.
And they can't keep up with it.
And they did this for the first year. They made more money because, breaking news, people will spend money if they don't feel like they're being ripped off, right? And so, like, there are ways and things that I'm interested to see how this all kind of evolves. But you mentioned the Fox Plus 12 game. And my last thing on this, because I hate it. I feel bad for fans.
It sucks. Like let me be very, very blunt. It sucks.
Terrible.
I don't like having to spend time talking about how you guys as fans don't have an opportunity to consume the product by clicking the goddamn game on. It is the dumbest possible thing imaginable.
It's also, and this is not going to make anybody happier, but just a reference, people in Denver have actually dealt with it worse. With altitude TV, like, nobody could get altitude TV.
Less than 10% of the state of Colorado can watch Nuggets and Avalanche game.
Yeah, Nuggets have almost a zero TV rating.
Yes.
Well, they used to because the accessibility. So the Monday game on the 16th is on Fox 12 Plus that you mentioned.
Yes.
I'm gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna lean over here. I'm gonna grab my Gundy eye, my Heiken Gundy eye, my third eye. Daniel. You said the deal is up in 2 years, correct? Mm-hmm. Do you know where the Phoenix Suns are playing their games now on the local television in Phoenix? Do you know what?
The Arizona Family Sports Network?
It is owned by the Gray family. Daniel, who owns KPT 12?
That would be the Gray family.
The Gray family. So the Gray family is basically beta testing this right now in Phoenix for the season. And I believe, and I would back it by saying I talked to some people about this last couple of days. Fox 12, heavily in the running for this. A super big push. They value local television. I know when the Blazers do their, like, statewide tour thing where they go to the small towns and say hi. I know somebody at Fox 12, pretty prominent name, ended up going with them as kind of like a, hey, we're partners and we support this. And you mentioned the other one, CW Coin is absolutely going to be vying for this as well because CW, whether you watch it or not, is investing heavily in local sports.
Yes.
So I'm just saying, the game on Monday, support it. If you want something different, you want a Phoenix Suns Utah Jazz thing,
turn it on.
Get your ass to Fox 12 Plus and watch this game because it's kind of a testing thing for them. And I know that channel wants the Blazers badly, and the owner of this station also owns the one in Phoenix that is going to have the Suns. So it's just about eyeballs and interest, and I know Portland's got it. So there's a little caveat on that Fox Plus 12 thing.
No, it's 100% real, and that's the thing there's the way sports is being way sports are being broadcast, covered, and distributed is changing rapidly. And the unfortunate side of this is the Blazers deal came up when it did, and everyone's like, well, they should have signed a shorter deal. It's the shortest deal that you could sign in broadcast is 4 years. Like that's nothing in the broad. I believe that the Spectrum TV deal with the Lakers runs until like 2037, and that was signed like 4 years ago.
Oof, that's an ACC deal.
Yeah, but I mean, Spectrum's paying them more money than God, and it's worth it to them.
Oh, yes, the Lakers.
Yeah, so it's just there's a lot there. There's a lot there. And like I'm not telling you guys that you can't be mad or bitch or complain. Just when you do, know what you're talking about. And I'm trying to give you guys the tools to know that. Like, I understand you're frustrated, but the previous deal, the other deals that were on the table, they did not include all of these other options. Just period, point blank.
Well, the deals have been interesting over the years. The last time NBC got them back for the last time, I remember somebody that was working at NBC literally running up to me and celebrating. And I was kind of like, I wasn't like mad that they were celebrating. I was kind of like, you think this is going to be I just kind of was thinking this ain't a long-term thing. And I talked to somebody yesterday that told me it was like on the 1 yard line for another channel and network, and Comcast NBC came in and was like, yo, here you go, please stay. And they were like, okay, we'll stay. But it was there was another channel in the running for that thing when it was last up with NBC. So it's always moving around.
Yeah. So there's all the broadcast stuff. There's 20 minutes of that. So that's hopefully the last time we have to talk about it until it changes again in 2 years. On to basketball. The Portland Trailblazers played the Phoenix Suns last night at Moda Center. It was great to be back in the building. Had Nurk and Nas and Key all back in the building. Obviously, Deandre Ayton taking on his previous team, the Phoenix Suns. Yes, we'll talk about his little exchange that he had at practice. But it was the first time we got to see the new era, the new team. God, I've got streaming on the brain now. The new team, new era, whatever you want to call it. I really want to stop saying the new era. We got to come up with something different. I've typed it about 1,000 different times and stuff that I've written. I'm just like, I gotta need a new name for this. I'm tired of writing the new era. But it's a new era, and everybody, because of the TV stuff, because the preseason game against the Breakers wasn't televised, whether you rode the high seas or not, this is when most people got to see this team for the first time. And shout out to the folks that came out last night. It was probably 70% full in there.
Pretty good for a preseason game.
I was actually kind of shocked by the turnout because the Breakers game was about half. It was about half. Last night it was pretty full.
I saw it was either the Suns game or it was maybe the Breaker game, but I saw the highlight of Scoot leading the guys out of the tunnel, and he was warming up, and I kind of was just like looking at just the 100 section bowl, and I'm
pretty
like,
sparse.
Ooh, that's sparse.
Pretty sparse.
But I don't blame people. Phoenix Suns is a more interesting team to get to play, and KD and Book played, and Nurk came back, so you had something to watch for.
What is your 30,000-foot view on just the game?
Oh, we are going to be so bad, Danny. Look, it's... We're
going to do it right away, huh?
Look, I want to be honest about this. This is not going to be, well, this player can't be good. I kept this on. I had baseball on. I had a little football, a little college football once in a while. I watched this game, and it's preseason, and it's the Phoenix Suns. Okay, those are important things to throw in there before I say what I say. I was kind of smiling in the second quarter when they went on that massive run to close the half, because I bet under 28.5 wins, and I never felt more confident about a bet cashing in my life than when I watched that team play. I understand the Phoenix Suns are better than most teams they'll play this year, but this fit, like maybe the chemistry will change, and let's allow it time. Sure. But if you're asking what I saw and how I feel, oh, boy, I have a lot of things. I think the veterans are looking good. Jeremy had a game. Brogdon was fine from the field. But they don't. Good. He is good. They come off to me, and I'll be curious to see this in the regular season, like guys that know they're going to get their numbers, but like they kind of know what the situation is. And then, like, you add the young inexperience. Like, Scoot was good, but he also had 6 turnovers, and he had some moments where he looked a little lost or puzzled and out of place. And like, I'm worried about Shaedon, and I think Scoot should bring the ball up, not Ant. I think Ant should be off ball. I know what you're gonna say, and you're gonna dive in a second spectrum. But if we're just talking about fit and this year, I just kind of feel like Scoot is a better creator or initiator, whereas like Ant can come off a screen, get the ball from Scoot, go get a shot or get an open look, and Scoot can go around and do Scoot things. Kind of my takeaway so far. I just don't think this team's going to be very good.
So my initial takeaway, and I kind of joked with somebody else about this last night. They're like, so what do you think? And I'm like, they're going to be a very fun team. And I kind of said something along this on Twitter last night of like, this is kind of what I expect. Now, not 39 to 15 in a quarter kind of thing, just kind of spread that out over the game. I think they're going to be in most games for 3 quarters. And then it's going to fall apart in the fourth, or it's going to fall apart in the third. It's just, or they just start poor because they're young. But some version of that where like, you see them compete in quarters. But the thing is, you see the consistency go, just disappear because they're kids.
First quarter, second quarter. I mean, just right there, point blank.
Because they're kids. And everyone's like, well, they've got Jeremy. And it's like, Jeremy's not playing every second of every game, running everything through him.
Right.
And even then, Jeremy, what makes him good is he is more consistent more often than not. Even the best of the best players have nights where it's not great. The thing is that the bar is always high. With kids, that bar changes. Not even night to night, quarter to quarter, shift to shift. And you saw that last night. You saw Scoot do some stuff and then also have 6 turnovers because stuff that he tried in the G League doesn't work in the NBA because guys are bigger, stronger, longer, faster. I love what Chauncey said postgame. This is the first time in Scoot's life where he's playing against guys that are better than him. And they're going to be better than him every night. And how he adjusts to that. And they're confident, and I am confident, that he's going to get better and above to that level. I've seen nothing from Scoot that makes me think, I don't know if he's got it. But I've also seen stuff from him already where I go, oh, that's going to be an interesting development. That's my new way of saying they need to work on that.
Something you can probably grab a bottle of lotion and go to the bathroom with after the pod. Last night I'm watching this game, and Scoot commits a foul, and he's like standing there, and he's kind of like slumped a little bit, and he has a look like, really? And in my head, I heard you say, he's 19. And I know you're going to get really excited about that, and you're going to go, do some nasty things. But like, I legitimately, that popped in my brain. I'll push back on something you said there. Let's put a pin in this for the show this season. I'm not sold that this team is going to be exciting to watch. I think they're going to definitely have moments, and they're going to have quarters where they go on runs. But man, when they play bad, like they shoot 30% or 36%, and the other team goes on a run, like I'm not saying the whole league's going to do it to them, but I'm not overly convinced they're going to be all that fun to watch.
You're underestimating where my brain's at right now. There's a significant, a not insignificant number of Blazers fans who are very much convinced that this is a play-in team or like a sneaky playoff team. My brain is so far from that for them to actually bother me in any way, shape, matter, or form, they have got to be the process 76ers. That's how bad they have to be in my head for me to go, oh, this is a shit show.
Gotcha. Okay.
My brain, and I am trying to do as much work as I can to get people's brains to shift into development mode. Yeah. Portland fans, you have never reset in your lives. And unless you watch an obscene amount of basketball, and by obscene amount of basketball, I mean league pass depravity over the last 20 years, you have no idea what you're in for. You just don't.
We did have Sebastian Telfair as our point guard for a minute.
Okay. The vast majority of fans
I know.
do not remember that. because people weren't showing up for it. They just glossed over that. The city ignored it for 2 years. And that's the thing, is like, this is different. But I say all of that. I'm not trying to be like, don't be excited about this team. Don't be interested in the team. Be interested. Be excited. But not about wins and losses.
Yeah, don't hang everything on that.
Do not sit here and be like, oh my God, I had somebody screaming at me about Chauncey Billups and his ability to coax defense out of these guys last night against the Phoenix Suns in the preseason. And I'm telling you right now, if that is the way you're going into the season, you are going to be miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just flat out, you are going to be, I am not going to tell you how to fan, but you will be miserable if you believe that you've got to die on every win, every loss, every possession, and it's got to be there are a lot of kids, and there is a ton of teaching. Chauncey Billups pregame was talking about how different it is to coach this team because there's so many kids.
Yeah.
To go all the way back to the very beginning, the very basics. And he mentioned a point about, I asked him, like, how does he know when they've kind of crossed a threshold? Like, in practice or in a game of like, okay, we've got this under control. He was like, so actually it changes. It's, we're doing a drill and we've got 8 minutes and we get through that drill and we don't have it. We got to go do that drill for 5 more minutes, and then we still don't have it. And then we got to do it for 3 more minutes. And then I look down at my sheet and like, well, I've got to take stuff off, because you only have so much time for practice. And he said he feels like he's chasing it all the time. And he wasn't complaining. He was just like, I think very much framing where things are at, in the sense of like, Scoot is going to be a tremendous player. He is 19 years old. And I know I have said it 1,000 times already. I'm going to say it 30,000 more. He just doesn't have the experience. Think about that. That is a high school kid, a college freshman.
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't have the reps. Damian Lillard, when he stepped onto the court at his rookie year, had run probably 20,000 pick and rolls at a high level.
Yeah.
Scoot hasn't done that. And it's not because it's like a fault. He needs to go through it.
Yeah.
It's the same with Chris Murray. It's the same with Tumani Kamara. It's the same with Shaedon Sharpe. Like post game, Chauncey was, why did you put Scoot and Shaedon back in there? Because they're 19 and 20 years old and they haven't done enough to be sitting around chilling.
I'm surprised that question was asked, given like that's kind of what the season is. You got to get these 19 and 20-year-olds, like, they got to get those minutes.
But it is a little interesting to see, like, guys that are going to factor heavily in the rotation,
sure,
thrown back out there in the fourth quarter of a preseason game to eat real minutes. But it's like, the flip side is, there's, they need all that experience, whether it's against the top 6 of the Phoenix Suns or the back 6 of the Phoenix Suns.
You want to play him in the fourth. Like, if we're getting like into the injury stuff and all that, like, okay, but even if they play the back end of that Suns bench, if I'm Chauncey, like, I just kind of imagine that Chauncey maybe views that as like, it's also an opportunity to maybe build some confidence. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't do it against the starting rotation, but if you can go do it against those backup, like, you start to kind of feel like, okay, I'm here. He's got to figure that stuff out, him and Shaedon. But I mean, I kind of get it, man. Like, I want these guys to play an S-ton this year. They're 19 and 20 years old. If we don't want to be in the thing you and I have talked about, where like half-heartedly saying we're not built for this tanking thing, it's man, buckle up. You go to like the top end teams that have to rebuild through youth and movement and trades. It's 3, 4, 5 years sometimes. And like KD, Harden, and Westbrook, like, that was a 4-year thing before it started becoming viable. It was 5, and then they get to the finals.
In the Blazers, I will tell you right now that bare minimum, they're looking at this as a 2-year deal. They're looking at this year as an evaluation year, see who's what, where things are at, how the ramp is looking, and then they'll evaluate again and kind of go into next season with some changes.
Well, because you don't want to. The one thing that you mentioned there, the process.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you F around too much with a process and you become a process.
Yes.
And
then you're kind of stuck in it.
And then you're just known as the process team. Yeah.
And they don't want to be that. I have got that pretty certainly. Let's kind of go through the players a little bit and just kind of what we've seen so far. I'm just going to squash this now. The Ant DA pick and roll is going to be the foundation of this team. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. I'm going to hit you down with a whack-a-mole hammer. You and everyone else. That is going to be the foundation of this team.
Wait, why are you telling me to shut up?
Because you said that Scoot's the one who's be bringing the ball up too.
No, you asked a 30,000-foot view, and it just looked a little smoother with Scoot with the ball first and then passing on.
No, it looks smoother for Scoot. It does not look smoother for the offense. Because the Suns' defense is stretching out to 30 feet and blitzing Anfernee Simons to get the ball out of his hands. Because they know that's the guy that's going to actually hurt them right now. And they would rather live with Scoot trying to beat them than the guy that they know can drop 40 on their heads. And they're going to use Anfernee Simons and Deandre Ayton as their hammer to break stuff open. That is how the offense is going to run. That does not mean Scoot's not going to see a metric crap ton of touches. In the pecking order of ball handling, it's going to go Ant Scoot. That's how that's going to go. And Scoot is going to get so many opportunities. But you want the ball in Ant's hands because it's going to make it easier for Scoot. Full stop. It is going to make it easier. Think about right out of the gate when Ant and DA run that pick and roll, that Nurk and I believe Goodwin. No, it wasn't Goodwin.
Gordon?
I can't remember. No, it was Gordon. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nurk and Gordon blitzed. DA catches it in the pocket about 18 feet and swings it over to Scoot, who knocks down the catch and shoot three.
Yeah.
That right there, and it was Nasir was actually guarding Scoot on that play. Nasir, as soon as DA got the ball, left Scoot. Left him. Just said, bloop. That is how teams are going to treat him for probably the first 3 months of the season unless he shows he can do stuff.
Yeah.
And then by stuff, I mean be able to then knock down the three with like a modicum of success. On that note, I really like Scoot's catch and shoot three look. I very much am not worried. I do not believe in his off the dribble pull up three right now. It needs a ton of work.
I mean, he had that nice little mid range.
The mid range entirely different. I sat there and watched his two jumpers between his mid range pull up and his 3-point off the dribble.
Yeah,
they're two totally different shots.
Yeah. Well, I think he's lacking. I think a little confidence from the arc. It's obviously a thing people talk about. His percentage of the G League was not very good last year. So like that's something to work on. And you know what? I know you and I talked about CJ years ago. If he needs to shoot the midi, because that's kind of what he is, shoot the midi. But damn it, please work on that 3-point shot because that's going to be a very valuable thing for his career. But if it's going to work better mechanically for him to just shoot the mid-range on the pull-up, then do it.
Look,
take the dribble in. Like at some point, he's not going to shoot so many shots where you go, oh man, you ruined the whole thing. Like take the shot you can make.
We do not need to be worried about Scoot Henderson's ability to knock down off the dribble threes in year one.
No.
Year 3, year 4, if that's still an issue, then it becomes mildly problematic, and then it will be a thing that limits him from becoming a superstar. There's one guard in the NBA right now who is a superstar who can't hit pull-up threes. It's Ja, and he has a .001% athleticism. And as athletic as Scoot is, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have the ability to do the most insane finishing shit you've ever seen.
I think this will sound dumb to you, but it's kind of the reason I think I've always rooted for Westbrook is like it's a 3-ball league and that dude cannot make anything. No. But again, he still makes an impact.
But that's the thing is like, and what's happening to him later in his career as that athleticism is disappearing.
Yeah.
And what happened to him in his prime in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Everybody just undered everything. And
he's it feels like he's starting to kind of understand some of this. Like he's leaning into the role guy thing at the Clippers because I think he's the opposite of Iverson in he wants to play in this league as long as he can because he loves to compete.
Yeah. And that's, again, This is not an indictment of Scoot Henderson in any way at all. This is what he's 19.
Yeah.
Remember, again, I don't want to compare him to Dame, but I want to use that as a template of like expectations. Dame came in able to do that in his rookie year because he's 22, 23 years old, and he led the nation in scoring. This is a guy who came in finished.
Mm-hmm.
When we get to Scoot being 22, 23 years old, we can have the discussion of like where else he needs to work. Because remember, even air quotes, finished Dame, Brandon, struggled to finish around the rim. Don't you remember the first 3 years of Damian Lillard? It was like, not a great finisher.
Yeah.
So even the guys that are older and finished coming into the league, ready to go, still have stuff they need to work on. So, again, last night and going forward, Scoot or Ant and DA, that is going to be the bones of the team. I'm currently, literally on the other tab, writing on DA. I got to talk to him a little bit post-game. I'm going to talk to him a little bit more before I push this out. And then we're going to do some video work Sunday for all of the Ball is Life folks on the Patreon subscription. We're going to dive into DA a lot. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to add to that because like I know people are going to look forward to it. And I understand that this is preseason, but we're reacting to what we saw. I was kind of expecting a little more from him. I thought the way he just, in this way, like because the way he reacted to the quick question at the practice facility,
it's fair.
It just came off with a lot of like, I want to murder them energy. And like, he was fine, but I just was expecting a little more, I think. I think I reset an expectation in my head based on the emotion or anger I saw him answer with. Does that make sense?
Yes. I'm not going to argue with that, really. I would just say that the Phoenix stuff is very clearly a problem. Like, just in general. And it's still wildly fresh.
But what I'm saying is, yes, I agree with that. What I'm just saying is, like, I thought his stat line would be what Nurkic's stat line was.
Also,
but it's preseason.
But my caveat of that is, number one, that was about as motivated a Nurk as you're gonna see, and
I agree with that. Yeah,
and the weapons he had around him.
Yeah.
Nurk looked fantastic, by the way. Side note, he is down 50 pounds.
Yeah,
maybe more. He is highly motivated.
For now.
Look. I don't think it's unfair to say like. The change of scenery has always done Nurk well. Like,
in the immediate, it absolutely does.
Yeah, he's great there. I think he's going to be good there. I think DA long term is just going to make more sense. I think DA finished with 7, 6, and 3.
Yeah.
Last night the box score stuff I wasn't worried about last night because if you look at the shot distribution, Jeremy was getting his shots up because he looked bad against the Breakers. Just looked rusty.
Jeremy did?
Yeah, he played like a quarter and it was just ugly. I think he was like, all right, I'm gonna get some shots up. Shaedon got a ton of shots up. Scoot got a ton of shots up. Brogdon came in and got a bunch of shots up. Ant got a bunch of shots up. Everybody else, all of the wings and guards, all got theirs. And I thought Ayton was involved in everything.
Yeah.
But he just wasn't getting his shots.
Right.
Which some nights that'll be the case. I very, 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 very much believe that during the season he's going to be like 22-12.
Dude, I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying like dumb expectation by me going into preseason game from a practice clip. I just thought, okay, I'm going to go out there and get 19 and 10 was kind of like what my mindset was going to be stat line wise.
How many minutes did he play? Was it like 22?
He got 23 minutes.
22,
so he played him, Ant, and Jeremy played roughly the same amount. Shaedon and Scoot, they both played 30. Everybody else was 19-6.
So if he had played and they'd actually run a regular night, he probably would have had like a subpar night and finished with like 16 and 11.
Yeah, sure.
Which you're going to have nights like that. The thing that I want to see for Ayton, and I asked Chauncey about it too post game. Like the general idea is that Chauncey is going to allow Ayton a ton of freedom. They're going to allow him to like really explore his game before they reel him back in. And number one, I think that's great because they're young and they should. Ayton was asked to be stuffed into this box in Phoenix, and that was one of his criticisms. Is like, I want to be able to do more and not just be a role guy, quite literally a ROLE and an ROLL guy. And already he's been great on the roll. He's dunked 3 times at full speed, which we have not seen here in quite some time. His playmaking, I don't think he ever averaged more than 2 assists a game. It's robotic. It's not like Nurk's a very natural, cerebral passer.
Right.
That was always a difference between those two guys. Ayton was a significantly better finisher. Nurk was the significantly better creator.
I think that's a product of growing up in different countries.
I would very much agree. But to that point, I don't think it's something that Ayton can't do.
Sure.
Now, I don't expect him to turn into to Jokic, let alone Nurkic, let alone Jokic. Like, that's not happening. But I asked him about it after the game, and I was like, "Hey, Chauncey said he really wants to empower you, and kind of how do you feel about having that optionality?" And he was like, "Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. He's giving me the green light to take threes, to not just be the role guy, to actually make decisions in the short roll, to break off stuff if I see something else." And it's like he was like, you could just see the relief of like having that freedom, like not being told do X, Y, and Z, and don't you dare break away from like. The guy was very clearly browbeaten in Phoenix. That much is clear.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of like, what do you get out of him? He's already made a couple plays where like the criticism of him is that he's so big and long and athletic, but he doesn't get steals and he doesn't get blocks. He's had a couple great blocks, that he gets a little light in the ass on his screens. I think he's been good so far. Again, this is dumb early. About actually being solid in his screens and working off those pick and roll, because he has a chance here for a rebirth. And like this isn't a lottery redraft. This isn't a guy who he's not Zach Collins.
No,
a lottery pick who's trying to catch on with somewhere else, whether it's due to injury or whether it's due to flaming out with another team. Like, this is a guy whose career is a 17-11 guy who shoots 60% from the field. Like, the floor is quite high, but can you unlock more from a guy who's 7 foot, 255 pounds, and moves like a deer?
Yeah,
and the answer should be yes.
I think the thing that you mentioned there with Chauncey that I like is the one thing I think we know, right? Whether he would admit this or not, and I don't think he would because like nobody would want to talk about this. He kind of developed a reputation, right? Fair or not, he developed a bit of a reputation in Phoenix.
Oh, no, look, I am not even going to he scorched the earth.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that reputation comes to Portland, and it's a restart button. And like, I'm excited to see what it is, but I think to avoid the reputation from showing itself, what do? You get him involved with a lot of shit, man. You have him moving and rebounding. And
he's quite literally in the center of everything.
Kind of involve him in a lot of stuff. They said it in the media day. We're not going to use him like Joel Embiid. We're not giving him the ball and he's backing down 19 times a game. But you can get him some easy looks and you can generate better offense if he is in a malcontent and he feels involved in a lot of action.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And I think it's the right way to treat him. I thought for the most part last night he was entirely fine. And I saw some people like, I wish he was more impactful. I'm like, well, then take 5 shots from like 3 other dudes.
It's a stupid thing, Danny, because it's preseason.
Yeah,
I think other people were kind of with what I was thinking of.
That's fair.
Oh man, he's gonna come out. I thought he was just gonna come out and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna dunk on all you fools," and it's preseason, so I'm not gonna overreact. It was an observation I made from an expectation I'd kind of mentally set. If you want to talk about somebody in the game that we haven't talked about, I have a little alarm going off in the back of my brain.
Alarm for who?
Somebody I nicknamed his rookie year, and it caught on a little bit, but I'm starting to worry just a smidge, and it's something to keep a close eye on in a rebuilding year. The league is full of delicate ego, And I'm a little concerned of Shaedon. Now, again, this is not just preseason one game. Oh, here's Brandon hot take. I kind of noted this last year on my radio show. I'm a big fan, right? Baby Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
But the only time I've really seen the dog come out was in a summer league game on a dunk. And I think when we have expectations of players and futures and what this whole thing is going to end up being in the future, it's a pretty important piece to have the 6'5", almost 6'6" dude that jumps 44 inches be like the don't F around, let's go out here and take care of our ass guy. And it's the one aspect of his game I kind of worry about a little bit, is that there isn't this kind of out, like Scoot, you can tell Scoot has it. You know what I mean? I don't know what it's going to be for his career, but that dude's going to bring it. And sometimes I watch Shaedon play, and it's kind of like I'm kind of doing the Harlem Globetrotter whistle as I watch him dribble around. He's like, and just shoot a mid-range, or like he had a moment to dunk last night. I think it surprised him to get past KD on the baseline, but he missed the shot entirely. And I'm just, I'm not trying to freak out here. It's an alarm that went off last night of, I think this is a big year to show us a little bit of that. And didn't see it last night. What we're going to see in the regular season.
I think this year is going to be incredibly important for Shaedon Sharpe's maturity. He's going from being the only child to mom and dad just brought home the new baby from the hospital. And the attention is going to fall on Scoot. And Scoot's going to start. And Scoot's going to get the love. And Ant's going to get more time and more shine because he's better. And he's going to finish third in this. And so he's got to find that motivation, that professionalism. Because in the pecking order, like we talked about, it's going to be Ant, it's going to be Scoot, and then it's going to be DA, then it's going to be Jeremy, and then it might be Malcolm, then it's going to be Shaedon. And so, and I know everybody's going to freak out and all this, and I'm not throwing Shaedon under any buses right now. That's just this is the life of a professional athlete, is that every year you are fighting other people off. People are coming to take your job. They're coming to take your money. They're coming to take your livelihood.
Yeah.
That is the nature of this beast. I think Shaedon has all the potential in the world. I also think that it is a very bad idea to start him, because there is not enough ball to go around in that lineup for him to be able to do anything.
So do you think they were just toying with it for a preseason game?
I think they were just trying some stuff just to see what it looks like, for sure.
What order was he announced in the starting lineup, by the way?
So the starting lineup is Ant, because it starts with Ant and closes with Jeremy. So it went Ant, Scoot, Shea, DA, Jeremy. So Shea was in the middle.
I'm sorry. I meant the intros, like Mark Mason.
Yeah, no, in the middle. So Ant's number 1, Scoot's number 2. So Shea must have been number 3, because then it goes DA and Jeremy, because Jeremy's last.
Okay. I always viewed the last guy. That's a pecking order thing for me.
No, Hyken and I were wondering against the Breakers, like we were like taking bets, like who's going to get first, who's going to get last. And
dude.
We're like, is it going to be Scoot? Is it going to be Ant? Like who's like? I heard Ant first, and I went, okay.
LaMarcus was always last when he was here with Dame, and then LaMarcus leaves, and who goes last? The letter O. Yeah. So
and
I was curious.
Jeremy's getting it now because he's the adult in the room.
Sure.
That's why.
Yeah.
Side note, did you see Jeremy's player edition shoes? His customs? His T-Max?
Now that you mentioned it, I don't think I noticed them.
So they're like a Lamborghini yellow T-Mac.
T-Max? He got some T-Max?
He's an Adidas guy. Yeah, he's a T-Mac guy. He's got custom T-Max. I shouldn't say Lamborghini yellow, because that's like I'm thinking like the old, like not new Lamborghini, like old Lamborghini, like that.
Yeah, the '80s Lambos, right?
The mustard yellow, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's that, and because he's a Maryland guy, the trim right on the edge of the shoe is the Maryland flag.
Oh,
the Terp flag,
little red on there, Terp. Okay.
No, like the actual, like the cross.
Oh, the actual flag.
Yeah, it looks dope as hell. I asked him last night. I was like, "Those are custom PEs?" He's like, "Yeah, I got a few more coming." I was like, "God damn it!" Like, 'cause I would like I'd cop a pair of those immediately. They look dope as hell. Back to Shea. I would if I were him. This is easy to say as a nearly 40-year-old talking about a 20-year-old.
It's always easier to say if I were him. Yeah.
I would try to eat on that second unit. Just feast on that, because that's where he can. Number one, he's going to get matched up on lesser guys.
Yep.
Number two, the world is his oyster.
Well, I would actually make the argument like the ball is his oyster, but he's going to get set up beautifully because he has one of the best veterans in the league.
He's got Brog setting him up.
The 6th man of the year who can shoot and dribble, like setting him up for plays. Like, go look at the bench, right? Chris, I have no expectations that Chris is going to do much of anything statistically. He's a rookie.
I would say Chris is going to spend more time with the G League to start the season, like on the floor, than he does with the Blazers.
Totally fair. You imagine Tease takes Shea's spot, so he's going to be in the starting. Moses is there as a cleanup guy.
He's their third
nice
big.
Little number 2. Tamani, I'm excited to see what he can be, but he's a second-round dude.
Tamani might be like their 10th guy. They really
I like Tamani.
They really like. He's got an NBA body, and
yes, he does.
He plays hard as hell.
Yes, he does.
That dude is pegged at 11. Like, you just don't see him take a break. There's some stuff there. We'll talk about him too.
And you know, like on this show, I love Bari. We love Bari. Bari's
right. He's gonna be their backup 4.
Sure, I know, but like you just rattle it off, Danny, and I'm like, yeah, outside of Brog, Shea could definitely thrive in this role. And oh, by the way, who better than to have the NBA 6th man of the year last year in his ear going,
setting the table.
Yo, this role is actually pretty good, pretty productive, and a little less pressure than starting in that 5 rotation.
Hey, you want to have more of the ball and eat a little bit more here? Just saying.
Yeah.
Grass is pretty green on this side of the fence, brother.
But there's also a reason we only reference one player when we talk about good players on teams that matter and a guy just taking a lesser role to come off the bench. The only one we ever use is Manu.
Yeah, because it doesn't have.
It's always just Manu.
Look, they can figure out the Scoot Ant Shaedon thing in 2 years because they're 4 years away. Everybody's like, they need to get Scoot and Shaedon on the floor. And it's like, their primes are 5 and 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
For reference, that's how long Yusuf Nurkic was here. It's not imminent. They don't have to do anything right now. And them not playing 12 seconds more a night is not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, I promise you. They'll be out of so many games. Garbage time will be there for them to work on
they also
stuff.
were on the floor together last night without Ant. Like Chauncey knows what this is. He's going to make every possible lineup exist this year.
Yes. The way things are right now is you want Scoot, Ant, Tease, Jeremy, D.A. because that is going to make things easiest and best for Scoot and for the franchise. Because you're not only developing Scoot, you're redeveloping Ayton. That helps guys be successful. It's I've used the baseball analogy for this. It's like putting your young hitter in front of Barry Bonds.
Mm-hmm.
You want to protect him. Because if you take that away, they're not pitching to him. They're not going to give him that look. Because what they're going to do is Scoot, like I said, that kick out 3 where he knocked down the catch and shoot. Nasir Little jumped off him already. What do you think they're going to do in pick and rolls?
Yeah.
They're going to under everything, and every defender on that team is going to have a foot in the paint. But if it's Ant triggering the offense 65% of the time, now the defense has got to stretch out a little bit. And I'm saying you have to relegate Scoot to off-ball catch and shoot. No, you start the action with Ant and DA or Ant and JG. And all of a sudden, swing, now Scoot's attacking on the second side and on defense in rotation. And now you've simplified the decision tree for him.
Yeah.
And you want to do the same thing for Shaedon, where you've got Malcolm Brogdon, who's a hell of a shooter, who's a savvy playmaker, just vet dude. Like, and yes,
he knows who he is.
Yes, and if you're wondering, does this guy remind me somehow of like Blazers Andre Miller? You're not unique in that. I have had probably 500 DMs or texts about it. Yes, he not only looks like him, but
it's that running floater.
It's it's like
that running
he
float
plays
shot.
below the rim.
He does, yeah.
It's just, and he kind of has that like what it's not resting bitch face. It's like it's an emotionless face. Like you don't see him change, like at all. And I think Dre very much, you just hooped. And I've heard Brog say like 4 words so far. And being in the locker room a few times already, they already look at him. Like he walks around that room and he has all the young guys' respect. Already.
He won the 6th man of the year. He should have some respect in that damn locker room.
Like they already know. Like JG's the vibes guy. They look at Brog and he's a guy that they're already like
no nonsense, knows what he is. Yeah, we're here to work. Yeah.
So, I'm trying to think who have we not hit on. Oh, so let's hit on the young guys real quickly, and we'll get out of here because we've already gone. We're a little over an hour.
Yeah.
We talked about Tamani a little bit.
Yep.
Chauncey and the coaching staff, all of the coaches I've talked to so far, love him. Love him, love him, love him. 23 years old, so he's a little bit of an older rookie. His swing skill is the ability to knock down threes. Because defensively, he gets after it. He has a fundamental awareness of spacing. Like he's already made a couple of good back cuts where you're just like, yep, he understands. He's got a little bit of wiggle. It's there's some stuff there. Like he's just a basketball player who's heady, who you can trust. And I like that. Bari, wrapping up the backup 4 minutes. He's gotten probably about 8 pounds, 10 pounds bigger. Like he's solidified himself. The one thing I love about him is you just trust his hands.
Yeah.
Like you see him get his hand on a rebound or on a pass in traffic, and it's just like, poof, and you trust that the ball is in a safe space. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it absolutely does.
Like you just see him corral it, and you're like, okay, you're good. He's gonna provide value to them in like being just steady, even as a young guy, 21-year-old, second year player. You're like, oh yeah, no, he's reliable. Which is nice. Moses Brown has actually been good. Like,
I was gonna say
night and day difference from his stint here 2 years ago.
Yeah, what's fun? Can I confess something to you? When I saw him for the first time, I was like, man, I could have swear we had a guy named Moses Brown a couple years ago.
yeah, and he looked like Bambi, like just a baby deer, just didn't know how to control his body, kind of just all over the place.
If this is the Moses Brown we're getting, that's their backup 2, and that's like a nice player to have in my opinion. Backup 5, excuse me.
I mean, he's going to be your third big. Because
I think he plays like this. He could maybe be the backup.
No, it's Time Lord.
Oh, I keep forgetting. Sorry, I forgot about Time Lord. Yeah. He didn't play. Yeah, that's my bad.
He banged knees for everybody wondering.
Yeah.
Practice, and
that's my bad.
They're just gonna be careful with Rob because of his injury history.
That's fine. He has the opportunity to get real run as a third big, and given the history of the said player, could end up being the second big for a decent stretch of the season. But either way, I'm happy.
Look,
I like seeing him.
He doesn't have a ton of skills, but what he does have is he's like 7'2", 250 pounds. Like he is. Somebody was like, "Oh, you mean?" I said he's massive. Somebody's like, "Oh, you mean he's tall?" And I'm like, "No, I mean he's enormous. He's just gargantuan." And you're like, "Oh, he looks skinny." It's like then you go stand next to him. He looks skinny because he's so long.
Mm-hmm.
But like his calves are like the size of most people's thighs, and you're like, yeah, he's just a mammoth human. He lives at the rim on both sides of the floor. He's going to be a drop big. He's going to be a rim protector with size. All he wants to do is dunk everything. He's shown a real penchant for offensive rebounding. The Blazers at the end of the half, they go, or excuse me, was it the end of the first? Might have been the end of the first when they went 1-4 flat against the Suns with Ant and Brogdon.
Yeah.
And they immediately trap Ant, and he flings it to Brogdon on the slide. Brog one-handed rips it to Moses Brown to the dunker spot, throws it down, and I was like, well, that's nice. Like, because they had 3 non-shooters on the floor, and they managed to generate a great look out of a 1-4 flat at the end of the clock. And I was like, that's good basketball. Like, that's So, look, Moses Brown finishes everything around the rim, rebounds really well, offensive rebounder, and just by his gigantism is going to be viable as a rim deterrent. He's not mobile. He gets caught guessing a little bit defensively. Like, there's stuff there that they need to figure out. But, like, if that's your third big, he has things like, I always say, like, your third big needs to be, like, you need to be able to, like, go check marks next to stuff. Like, if it's going to be, if it's Mike Muscala, like, high IQ, shoots the shit out of the ball, and is going to be, like, a dirty work guy. Like, he doesn't give you anything else, but those 3 things, like Drew Eubanks, like, is going to work really hard, is going to try to dunk everyone's soul, and is going to try to block every shot. Like, when you're that guy, just do 3 things. And I think he does 3 things just fine. Somebody asks, is Kamara a 3 or a 4? He's a 4 who kind of plays like a 5 with high mobility. He's a weird player in that sense, but it's going to be fun to kind of watch him. Rupert. Here's some breaking news for you. He grew over an inch since they drafted him.
He's grown an inch?
Yes. He's over 6'8".
Hello.
I've had multiple people in the Blazers like, he look a little bigger to you? I'm like, yeah, he does. He's like, it's because he grew over an inch. I was like, what?
We got ourselves a Giannis, a French Giannis here.
So
he's going to randomly 6'11" in 2 more years and add 35 pounds.
They think he might get bigger before he's all said and done.
Taller or bigger?
Taller.
Oh.
Like 6'9", 6'10"?
They think he might end up being,
God, that'd be so awesome.
So, and he's far away.
Yeah.
But there's stuff
real
from
project player.
I don't think this isn't like Bruno Caboclo like 2 years from 2 years. Like, you see stuff right away. He's had a couple things already where like he put the ball on the floor against the Breakers on a closeout and from above the 3-point line, like 2 feet above the 3-point line, and took 2 steps and got to the rim. And I went, holy shit, he just ate up 30 feet in 2 steps. Like, that's not normal.
He looks real lanky in person.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
He's rangy. Like, he's the kind of guy, like, when you see him, like, get down and, like, in a defensive stance and open up his arms, you're like, oh, yeah, you're looking at that as a guard and going, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
Like, he just, it eats up, I think his wingspan's like 7'2", 7'3", something like that. He's long, dude.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of that game, he also ran a little pick and roll with Kamara where he like drew the defense and threw a little one-handed pass to Kamara and knocked down the 3. And I went, okay. I was like filing like little notes away for later. Like, let's revisit that with the remix. He's going to spend a ton of time with the remix. I would imagine you're probably looking at him, John Butler Jr. and Ibu Baji as your starting 3, 4, 5 with the remix.
Well, I mean, you're giving me. You mentioned having Murray down there as well.
Mm-hmm. I think he's going to spend some real time down there. I think Skylar Mays is going to spend a little bit of time down there just to kind of be like their veteran point guard. He'll be their break glass in case of emergency guy with the Blazers. Like, for sure. If he stays on a 2-way deal, you can be on the roster, 50 times because of the 2 ways. He'll hit 50. Like, he'll get his 50 games. I have zero doubt about that.
Yeah.
Because he'll be a guy like, that just kind of pops around there. Am I forgetting anybody else as far as
I don't think so.
Guys?
I don't think we missed anybody rotationally. The only other thing I'm thinking about real quick, and I know we're just over the hour. So, what did you think of the get out and run stuff? Once again, a season of hearing about that, the noise a little bit, the young athletic team. They had less fast break points than the Phoenix Suns.
Don't care about fast break points. It's about the process of running. So
just getting out and initiating offense quicker.
Let's get into stuff before 18-19 on the clock. And they did a very, 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 very good job of that in the first quarter. They struggled with that a lot in the second quarter, and that's that inconsistency, right? The other part of that was the Suns were hitting everything. So that's the part.
When Book and KD are shooting, I mean, like you're kind of hooped. You know what I mean? You're screwed.
That's the thing about running. You need stops.
Yes.
And so what's going to end up happening, I asked Chauncey about this, and this is where the balance they have to find. You can put your foot down all you want, but if you're pulling the ball out of the basket every single time, you're not really getting much out of it. And all you're doing there is you're increasing your possession threshold so much that you're just going to get your ass kicked more.
Yeah.
So you need to find like, okay, how many possessions a game do we need to be at? And then you kind of work your way from there. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be interesting. And again, the Blazers play again tomorrow. I need to double check to make sure.
Utah Jazz, baby.
Yeah, they're playing the Jazz, and they are on. I'm trying to remember what network they're on to make sure we should be able. I'll double check it to make sure. It'll be our first watch playback game of the season. We'll do. We'll do the watch parties.
You're doing the watch party tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oregon State?
Yeah, I've got 3 monitors, Sprague. I have 3 big ass screens right around me.
This goes back to the very beginning of the pod of you not wearing a mask but murdering somebody.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I'll have USC Notre Dame up probably in the fourth quarter, losing my collective mind. Oregon Oregon State UCLA and the Blazers Jazz. So, yeah. Somebody asked about Duop Reith and Justin Minaya. I think those are the 2 guys that are fighting for the last spot. And
who's got the edge?
I would probably lean towards Minaya just because they need like another wing body.
Okay.
I really like Wop though. He's a cool dude, man. Just the few. So is Justin might be the nicest guy on the team. But
Duop is the guy that Hyken wrote a really good piece about him last year.
No, Baji.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
No, Baji is
good piece by the way on the Rose.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Baji's been a little bit under the weather. It's why he hasn't been playing. Both him and JB have had a little bit of a bug. So okay. I would imagine you'll see that kind of coming up here soon. Other than that, I think that's everything.
I think we hit on everything from the start of it and all the media stuff.
Hour and 20-minute podcast because we spent 25 minutes talking about a stupid broadcast issue.
It's not stupid though. It matters.
No. It's not. The issue itself is stupid. Not that it doesn't matter. The way things are going, like I said, I have the film watch session on Sunday afternoon. If you're the Balls Live member, you've got an email on that on your Patreon accounts. Come hang out. Either you can do them live or you can rewatch them. They're obviously better live because you can ask questions. Beyond that, I'm going to have a ton of content out now that we're into the season and getting into this stuff. I want to get a few more games before I dive into anything deep. But let's do the table setter stuff. Like I said, I've got a thing on DeAndre coming out. I was going to write on the broadcast stuff. I may just kind of use this podcast as a standalone instead of just writing about it because there's just too much stupidity.
You should be writing about what we already talked about.
Yeah. But if you have questions and you want to know about stuff on that, you please tweet at me. I'll answer what I can where I can. But other than that, I think we're good. Go Beavs tomorrow.
Go Trojans.
As they take on the...
I hate Notre Dame, so I want you guys to really win that game.
Fight the fuck on. I will be a basket of cats tomorrow because they don't actually need to win that game because it's non-conference.
You don't want to have a one loss though.
But no,
you don't want to have a one.
I don't either because I hate that absolutely scumbag school from South Bend.
Golden Dollars.
And then obviously there's Ducks and Dogs tomorrow afternoon. So gonna be a spicy sports day.
Good luck to you, Duck fans. My sphincter is tight, and I'm a Beaver fan playing UCLA.
So there you go. The Pac-12 is getting wild. We will be back. Hell, we might do this again on Sunday. Just because there'll be another
Mailbag
game and
stuff.
more bag stuff to go through. So,
Yeah.
Otherwise, everybody have a wonderful, wonderful night. Stay safe. Take care. Talk soon, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow for the game. Like, review, subscribe, help us grow the show. Find us on social media at Jacked Ramsays, at Danny Meringue, at Brandon Sprague. Email the show, jackedramsays@gmail.com. Whew. There we go. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. Great pod.
Talk soon, folks. Bye.